Hi, my name's David Alberts, founder of BeenThereDoneThat, and today is part of our series BeenThereDoneThat Where Next, where we start on the kind of assumption that what's got us here is not going to get us to where we need to be. And today I'm very happy to have Jeff Jarrett, the North American CMO of Bayer Health, with us. Jeff, welcome.
Thank you.
And we've got a party going on in the background, but let's give it a go. And so tell us your journey to come here.
Well, going way back, I was actually a finance person
Right.
from the first 6 years of my career, but I always knew I wanted to get closer to the consumer, and I went to P&G in finance, and then I spent 20 years there, about in total, 2 years in 2 years in finance and like 18 in marketing.
Right.
I left P&G to be the CMO of a small turnaround company, and then I left that company to be the CMO for North America of a large turnaround company, which was Bayer North America. The consumer health division was in need of a turnaround. So I've been there for 5 years and really enjoying it. The turnaround has happened, and now we're trying to get to great.
Fantastic, fantastic. I love that turnaround because it's a whole mind shift, isn't it, when you do that. So in these series, we ask the same questions to everybody. The first question is, Jeff, tell us, what's the biggest problem you face in your role at Bayer?
Yeah, so we've been talking a lot about full funnel management, upper funnel, lower funnel, which isn't a new topic, but I think with so many things that we can do and so much data we have on the lower funnel, you know, in business challenges in an economy, money gets forced there, but it's actually the upper funnel that I'm starting to struggle with the most. And that's because in the past we could just use TV. I mean, it was a really easy way to get your brand's equity, purpose, point of difference out there to consumers in a way that felt relevant in that channel. But now we've got, you know, a million different channels actually trying to reach every consumer with a message that's going to be emotionally engaging, especially because they're in each channel for a different reason. So what's emotionally engaging is going to be different. And so the real need is how can I be everywhere with an engaging message that's right for that consumer at that moment?
That's really interesting, really interesting. And yeah, in a way, Gen AI has got the promise that we can make lots and lots of content, but it kind of, in a way, it solves a problem, but also it adds to the problem as far as that. How do you then, with that problem, how are you thinking about it in tackling that problem?
Well, I mean, you can't be everywhere. You don't have enough money to do that. But first is picking the exact places where you need to be, and data can help us a lot with that, being focused on a certain consumer, what are their habits, behaviors, and what are the moments that are right where you need to show up. All right, now you can get it into a reasonable space. But I mean, the next part is we're working with our existing partners, but also bringing on new partners all the time who are experts in these channels that we now need to be great in. We need to build brands in these channels, and so that's the move right now. Is how do we be as good there as we've been in the previous channels in the past?
It's so interesting. We hear it so often. Is this idea that actually the curation, and whether you talk about that through strategy or defining problems for the brand up front, is one of the biggest needs, in a way, to go further, as you say, upstream, understand where the brand exists and what the brand stands for, so that when you get into different channels, it kind of, maybe it might turn up in different places or in different shapes or colors or sizes in every different channel. But how do you, is that something that you're looking at, to go upstream and define what's the role of the problem that brand faces and the challenges?
Yeah, definitely. I think, again, the question is how many channels and how far upstream. So I think the key first part is being strategic and saying we're going to use this channel, this channel, and this channel for this purpose. And then we're out there, again, looking for the right partners for the right type of creative or brand experience that's going to work in that channel. And that's, we've started the journey, but we have a long way to go. And I do think down the road, generative AI is going to help us. You know, it'll help us be more, I guess, customized for that consumer. But I can't see it ever replacing the need for creativity that actually makes people think differently. It can it can multiply it once you have it.
Exactly.
But we'll see if it can come up with creativity like the greatest creative minds at our agencies.
Yeah, I think the I was discussing with someone the other day, and actually a CMO at Unilever who was saying technology is fantastic, and her point of view was as we up the technology, we have to equally balance it with the humanness, right? Because otherwise it gets out of kilter, right? And so I suppose that's the challenge of, maybe that's the role of human intelligence, is to understand how humans think, and the role of technology is to how to amplify, distribute it. I think is really interesting. So in an ideal world, if you were to project along the turnaround and get to a place, what's a great place to get to that we can all kind of imagine?
I mean, a great place to get to would be any channel where we're going to be, the work is good enough to be at least shortlisted here. Right. And if we're not going to be in that channel, then I don't need to worry about it so much. But if we're going to be there, I want it to be world class. I want it to be great, not just because awards are great, but because if the creativity is strong enough, it will actually break through the consumer in these channels like TikTok and others, which are crowded with content that consumers are just, they're consuming 3 hours a day of anything that gets served at them, and what we come up with has to be as interesting or more interesting than that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. One of our clients describes strategy as forcing you to make choices, and I kind of think that understanding that what you're trying to achieve will decide, do I need to go here or here rather than be everywhere. But as you say, it's how do you bring that to life. So if you were going through the journey you're going through, and I really love the fact that you say you're on a journey, it is where next, the next 4 months and the next 6 months, what would be the first step that you would advise people to, where do they start?
Well, I think you would start with where's your consumer spending time and really dig into that. And once you know that, then I think you need to look at what partners are out there that are experts in that space. Yeah. And in some cases it's going to be an agency, in some cases, many social channels, it may be creators and influencers who actually understand the consumer and what the consumer wants and needs on those channels better than we do or the agencies do. So I think it's just about finding the experts where you need the expertise.
Yeah, no, I think access to expertise is more and more important than ever before, and I think you're right. It's not one size fits all. It's finding who's good at this bit, who's good at that bit, but then I suppose if you're going to get that emotional connection, we spoke about before, the role of how do you make healthcare products feel as emotionally connecting as a soft drink or a fashion brand or anything like that. And I think that's a real opportunity actually as you start to look at the audiences.
So the second thing I would say, back to my comment about it needs to be good enough to win here, if we push our teams to deliver work at that level, even if they don't get there, it's still going to be quite good, and it's probably still going to be better than any advertising you would do if you weren't pushing for that level. And then when you do hit the home run, then things are exciting.
I think that's what is great about coming down here, and has always been in my 25 years, when you sit in a room and see something, it connects with you and the message gets absorbed. And I think that is, if you talk about the fourth industrial revolution where creativity is going to lead the way in that, I think it's a very exciting journey you're going on. So thank you very much for spending the time with us. And I'm sure that we'll see you back here walking up on stage next year.
Let's hope so.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jeff.
Thank
Really
you.
Nice to meet you.
You too.